The conventional deadlift helps you build strength through your posterior chain, mainly through your hips, hamstrings, back, core, and grip. The main equipment you use for this is a barbell with the proper plates to set the height of the bar for you, and tools like kettlebells for people who are more at the beginner stage and are not quite ready to jump over a barbell. You use this exercise to build strength from the floor, because as a human being, you pick shit up from the floor quite a lot. This exercise generally is good for reinforcing things like a brace, back strength, leg strength, and hip strength and power, picking something up from the floor. This is one of the most transferable lifting patterns, because in everyday life, you pick stuff up. When you walk into the supermarket, you pick up the basket. When your thing you want's on the bottom shelf, you'll go down and do this. When your cats or your kids or your dogs come up to you, you want to pick them up. It's all deadlifts. But this, realistically, is suitable for anybody who wants to build strength across the posterior chain, mainly for the hips, hamstrings, and through your back as well. When you're doing this exercise, you should feel mainly the legs pushing the floor down. Think about sitting in a leg press and pushing the pad away with your legs. You're doing the exact same thing. Think of the cue, push the world away with your legs. So you should feel the legs driving into the floor to push the floor away. You'll feel the glutes and the hips contracting to drive into the bar. Think about thrusting the bar with the hips as you're driving the floor down with the legs. You should also feel the entire back keeping yourself upright. The torso will begin in this leaned position. If there's weakness in the back, what happens is your back rounds out and you're going to be very sore tomorrow. You should also feel the core, which contributes to not folding in half. If you feel back pain, that's a sign that either the bar is too far away from your body, or you're not holding the right tension in the torso for your brace and your back position, which means you're either arching the spine, no ab tension, or the spine's too rounded, which means that you're going to feel that straight through the discs of the spine. When setting up for a deadlift, here's an important tip. You'll notice that I don't have this on the green track, the same as the kettlebell. I've actually got this on a platform. When you're deadlifting, you want to think about the surface that you're standing on first. That's where you're going to get your stability from. If you're standing on squishy rubber floor, or you're standing on the track, which is the grass, it's not stable, it's not secure. You want something with a firm surface, like a platform. Second thing I want to make you aware of is footwear. I bought these things for 11 quid on AliExpress. They're deadlift slippers. If I get official ones from a proper shop, they cost like 40, 50, 60 quid. These do the exact same thing. These, Converse, socks, bare feet, if you're into that and your gym allows that kind of thing. Anything that's not runners, Nikes, something you'd walk in, something with a spongy sole. You don't want that, it's gonna fuck your hip position and it's gonna ruin your lift. As flat as you can get, that's better. When the bar is resting on the floor, you wanna step under the bar so that it covers your midfoot. Now what midfoot means would either be when you're standing up looking down, the bar is just covering where your shoelaces are. Another way to look at it is stand so close to the bar that you can fit 1 to 2 fingers between the shin and the bar. If it's any further away than that, it's too far away from your center of gravity. When you lift it, it's not going to go straight up, it's going to pull straight back into you and you're going to feel that right through your lower back. Midfoot under the bar. Your stance is hip width, legs vertical and straight down. To get down to the bar, arms down, ribs down, brace the core. Use the cue, you're trying to squeeze out a fart without shitting yourself. Breath, push, but don't relax. Arms long, ribs down, core engaged, ass back. You can also bend the knees a bit here. The most important thing you're looking to not do here is this. Push the bar away with your knees as you're going down. If this happens, that means that you're more going down into a squat position to get to the deadlift, and we don't squat our deadlifts. Midfoot, arms long, ribs down. Try not to shit myself. Bum goes back. I'm going to grip this with my arms vertical. Elbows and knees, well, elbows just outside knees, but keep them close. You don't want to grip this wide. The wider the grip, or the further away from your body bits are, the weaker things are, generally. Now, before lifting the barbell, you want to, listen to this. You hear that? You do not want to hear that as you lift it. You may have at some point heard the cue, take the slack out of the bar. Apply tension before you lift. Pull against the bar. wedge the hips as you drop down. These all mean essentially the same thing, but they don't always hit home the way you think they will. I use this cue and it works usually quite well. Think of your legs as springs. Now you should know what a spring feels like. If you hold it, you can squeeze it and it bends like that, yeah? Imagine this is a fucking thick spring, so you've got to squeeze that fucker to make it bend. That's your legs. Now when you reach down, your springs ain't bending because there's not enough tension being applied to make it bend. Only way your knee bends is by fucking pulling that. Imagine this was glued to the floor with Gorilla Glue, cemented. This bitch ain't moving. When you hear the cue, bend the bar, you're trying to pull the bar up like this. Now you notice that I didn't even use my hips or my back. That was all my shoulders. This is called scapular retraction, scapular depression, but really it's lat engagement. You're trying to pull your shoulders right down to here. Now, I'm not just doing that with my shoulders because that does nothing for the tension. You want to try and pull this. And by pulling it, you're bending the springs into position. In other words, setting your hips. Imagine this bar with a bit more flexibility to it. This is a deadlift bar. This one can bend more, but only once you've got like 120 kilograms on it or more. I'm not lifting that today. You want to pull the bar, and as you pull this, you're pulling the hips down into position. Now, the further down your hips drop, the harder you're pulling on this bar. You're not pulling on it with your arms. You're not pulling on it with your back. You're pulling on it with your entire body. When I grip this, I'm now applying some tension. 20%, it begins with the back. I'm doing this, and I'm trying to pull the bar up the way, just with my back. As I drop in position, I'm trying to pull it even more. Now, when you're doing this, the bar's not going to be floated in the air like this. I'm exaggerating how much tension you're trying to pull into that bar before it even lifts the floor. If this weighed 100 kilograms, and I'm on a big ass scale right now, the scale displays 100 kilograms. I got a grip on it, I'm trying to pull about 20 kilograms off it now. So the scale should now say 80 because I'm taking 20. When I drop into it here, I'm trying to get, honestly, as much of that number off the scale as I can. So when I lift it, my body's already loaded with a decent chunk of that weight. Depends how heavy you're lifting it. Then when you stand up, you're not introducing the whole weight to your body in one go. Now, I hope this made sense. It might now. Imagine I applied no tension. This was 100 kilograms. I'm going into it soft and relaxed. And the only time my body feels any of this weight is now. As I lift it, this is what happens. Either your back's gone and you do one of them, or it looks like that. Apply tension. You're listening for the cling. Cling, drop the hips, pull the bar into the shins with the shoulders back, clock the head back, push the floor down and stand tall. Reverse it to go down. Hips back, make space, right to the floor. What I'll do to break up the reps is I straighten the legs. I'm doing the spring bit all over again. Tension, pull into the bar, shoulders back to back pockets, deep brace in the core. If I imagine someone's taking a plunger and they go on the back of my head, when I'm here, they're pulling that head back. Pulling the head back does not mean doing this, because you arch the spine, you're going to feel a lot of discomfort right down your spine. You want to picture that you're looking about 2 meters in front, just here. You pull the head back for this reason. So here, I'm looking down. My shoulders are more in line with my toes. As soon as I pull my head back, see that? Head down, head back. I'm rocking back and forwards. Now, I'm exaggerating this, but this is what most people tend to do. They look down, they lift, the hips go up, and the back follows suit. Pulling the head back assists to apply tension to the bar. Another way to think of that is try and get your chest as far away from the bar as you can. Long, hips back, grab, pull the springs down, shins against the bar, shoulders back, roll the head back, push the floor away. Back to the floor again. That's how to do a conventional deadlift. I've tried to hit that from every angle there. So hopefully something in this made you go, oh shit. I'm going to do a rep slowly and explain what I'm doing through every step, just in case that previous bit was a bit too long. Put your midfoot under the bar. 1 to 2 finger spaces between your shin and the bar. Your stance depends on your build. Hip width to a wide hip width if you're taller and larger. But if you're wee like me, this is fine. Arms long, ribs down. Engage the core or take a breath. Try and fart without taking a jobby. Hips go back, grip on the bar, shoulder tension. Reinforce the brace. I'm going to pull the bar, pull my hips and wedge into position. I'm pulling the bar into my shins, shoulders back. Clock the head back slightly to align the spine. Push the heels through the floor, so push the rod away. Bar travels up slow. What I'm doing here is I'm squeezing my bum. I'm trying to drive my hips forwards as I push the floor down, and I'm trying to lift the chest up at the same time. So we're pulling up as the bar transitions past the knees. My main objective now is to pull the chest up and try and drive the hips into the bar. This will help prevent here and then a back extension by locking the legs out and having to do this and lift up like this, which we don't want. That's hitching, it's struggling, it's gonna hurt your back. As soon as you're here, you're pushing the heels through the floor like a pin, hips into the bar, squeeze the glutes, shoulders back, chest up. We do not lean. Stand tall. Imagine you're a small kid again. You've got your back against the wall. Mum's drawing that line to see how tall you've gotten. Not very tall if you're me. Tall as you can, don't lean back. This is hyperextension of your spine. Keep it balanced over your midfoot. These are some of the most common mistakes to avoid. Number one, the bar too far away from you. If it's not over your midfoot and it's over your toes, when you lift it, you're either gonna use your back and the bar has to move back into your body anyway when you lift, or you'll yank it up and you'll immediately, I should not have done that. Don't do that. Second mistake, yanking it off the floor or ripping it off the floor. This is where you don't give much of a fuck and you just pull the weight up. You introduce all the tension at once, it'll go straight through your back again. Hello. And typically, when you yank it or rip it off the floor, you have no tension anywhere, which means your core is more hollow. And as you go to lift it, your back, do it in slow-mo, your back kinks out, and then you pull it up. That's why you feel a sore back the next again day. Think about applying tension and making the lift feel as smooth as you can. You're trying to become one big ball of tension, as solid as you can be. Another one is when you drop into position and the bar rolls away from you. What's happened here is you've essentially adapted more into a squat position. So a squat position would be when the hips are low enough that your femur is parallel with your knees. This would not look out of place as a barbell squat. As a deadlift, yeah, it does. If I'm down here and my knees are over the bar, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but here's where I trip up personally. If I go to lift this, my knees are now in the way of that. So I'm gonna have to lift the bar over my knees to lift it up. Did you spot the problem there? Where did the bar end up? Over my toes, not over my midfoot. Think about, there's a chalkboard right here and a bit of chalk on the end of my bar. When I lift it up and back down, I should see a straight line on that chalkboard. It's never going to be a perfectly straight line, but I don't want it to be a fucking D or a B, because that signifies to me hugely that I've fucked up the movement pattern. I dumped the load out of my center of gravity. The tighter the bar is to you, the better the lift is, the stronger it is, the smoother it is, and the less awkward it is. You only pull the hips down until your shins touch the bar. When your shins have made contact with the bar, stop. If you go any lower now, my knees are going to go further forwards, and that bar, see how it wobbles? It should not move away at any point. It should sit still or move just in towards you. If it moves away, you've probably fucked up. Tension, pull the hips down. There, head back. Straight line up, straight line down. We're not squatting it. And yes, some Olympic lifters can start in that position and get away with it, but they're not doing a fucking deadlift. They're Olympic lifting. That's a different thing, and they are a different animal. How would you progress this exercise? How many pages are in the Bible? I don't know, but fucking loads. There's tons of ways you can progress a barbell deadlift. Add weight, add reps, add pauses, add tempos, do deficits, do pause deficits, do block deadlifts, do partial reps, do 1.5s. God, the list goes on. There's 101 Dalmatians and there's 101 ways you can progress a deadlift. Where would this fit in your program? Honestly, whether you're a beginner, an advanced lifter, God, you'd have this as the main lift of the day. Could be the main lift of your program, depends what your emphasis is. But I would keep this as one of the main lifts, one of the first things you do when you walk in the gym for anybody, because this is going to require so much energy, so much effort, and the harder you go with this, the harder it is to recover from too. So make this one of the first things. Could you imagine you go in and hammer a leg session and do this last? This is going to require the most amount of energy in your session. I could argue that this would actually require more energy than almost any other exercise you can do. Between this and a squat, they're both so heavily demanding on your body that when you're done with this, you shouldn't really have that much left to do in your session anyway. So this is a staple in your program.